right. Hello from snowy Boulder, Colorado. What the hell, right? I'm Erica Blair.
I'm String.
Yeah, and we are here chatting about your last day in Boulder. You know?
I'm actually going to head to Denver for another interview with Shio. I'm super excited about that. But Boulder is one of my favorite cities in America.
What do you like about it?
Well, the people actually. I feel like the people have made the experience so much better. But it's almost like having a geek out in a really small, tiny town. So the quality of conversation has been amazing. And I think it's because Boulder Startup Week has contributed to that factor.
So what did you expect coming into Boulder, never having been to Colorado before, not knowing exactly what this town was about? What were you thinking it would be like?
You know, this is kind of like my 3.5 week in America, and I realized I have a particular pattern of finding high-tech geek outs and really a bit of a hipster vibe as well. And this happens to fit all those vibes.
Yeah, so did it meet your expectations, or?
I had, the best way to describe it is to have a super low expectation, because then, every experience is always the best when it happens. I actually think, Boulder, I could see why Boulder is considered an alternative to Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
Especially the lifestyle here. They think about health more, their personal development more, and I think that's one of the best things about Boulder's attitude about lifestyle and business. I think.
What was the biggest surprise that you found coming here?
I didn't expect having too many late nights.
She had more fun than she imagined.
The one particular night is called Welcome to Boulder. And we had dinner with people who never met, and the host, Jesse Linton and I, and another person had such a great connection that we went out beyond 3 o'clock in the morning. That was great.
So in terms of the startup week, did you get to go to a lot of the events?
No, I'm terrible. But I had the best conversations by lining up interviews with people who are really smart and I'm here to geek out with a lot of people, and I was able to do that on a regular basis.
What was one of the interviews that stood out in your mind?
Some of the conversations that I wanted to capture, I couldn't capture. And I'm thinking, I wish I record myself all the time.
Like what?
I think Oxygen is one of my favorite ones, because I've been hanging out with team and I got along with them super well. And I hanged out with them last night, and I feel like they're creating a future of realities, or VR, paving the way for the future for it. And I feel like they're doing it in such a way that they create a really strong business model behind it as well, and I go along with the team.
Are there any other companies that really stood out that you encountered in Boulder?
Well, there's particularly a young woman named Claire who, surprisingly, we had dinner as well. She was part of the Welcome to Boulder dinner. And she did something not many early 20s could achieve, and she was able to do that her first time. And I feel like that's a bit of she was super lucky in that regards.
So in terms of, this was your 8th fried chicken party ever?
Yes. I like to think, Lee and Boulder's, Beach City Life were sponsoring it. It was really good. The amount of meat. Do you remember that? She said something
I've never seen so much meat in my life.
It was so good, right?
Yeah, it was amazing. So how did that go compared to the other ones that you've been?
So there were other people who booked the tickets and everything like that, but they didn't attend because they had other, commitments happened, but it was still great because those people who came along are people that I could look after for life.
Yeah, awesome. And that's one of the great things about doing these community events, is that it's not just about okay, let's get on a live stream, let's do the business thing. It's also let's be friends. Yeah, let's hang out.
And can I do business with you, or I like to see you grow. Yeah. And being the good host and things like that, and making sure that everyone's taken care of. Just like what Andrew said. It's all about making sure that you're very welcoming.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and so I thought that was a really good attitude about it. It's I'm on the right track because I'm learning from the masters.
Exactly. Yeah. So obviously it must be said, you're from Australia. You do not get a foot of snow in a day in Australia.
Do you remember a couple of days ago you were we might have snow. It's like, I want it to be white.
Yeah, so how has the snow squared up with what you thought it might be?
You know, I thought it'd be a lot colder because I've like gone to snow in Germany and Korea, but this is the prettiest snow ever. It's like what I imagine in movies. You know how like movies like so pretty?
Yeah, yeah.
This is like the kind of like style that I was like imagining myself. We just came from Twitter office. What were some like, you know, highlighted like interactions during Boulder Startup Week?
Oh, well, I think it was really interesting to see Twitter, and I actually just posted about this on Facebook. It's like when you see what it's like to take a Silicon Valley company and then stick it into the culture of Boulder, it's really interesting to see that interfacing because of the fact that, you know, like usually, you know, we think of Silicon Valley as sort of like this place of hustle, and I come from Palo Alto, so I kind of grew up around that, and I moved to Boulder because I like the really laid back vibes here, and I like the fact that this is a town where working hard and playing hard are both valued, and it's not like you need to sacrifice your life and your enjoyment and your energy just to be able to have a successful career. And so I think that was sort of a vibe that I got from pretty much all of the different events I attended, people I met. It's like we're here because we want to have a really balanced life, and that's why, you know, we're attracted to Boulder. I went to a talk that was all about flex work policies, and that was really interesting as somebody that works remotely myself, you know, to kind of see how, like, okay, so yeah, you are in Boulder, you can go hiking on the weekends, but like how can that actually even go a little bit deeper, and what could you do as if you're running a company to actually really create a lifestyle that makes employees excited and about working there and is more of a perk than just like, yeah, you get weekends off and you get to go up in the mountains.
So you were like based in Boulder a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
What's the difference between the last couple of years that you notice now?
Well, you know, we touched on it with a few of the different live streams. I think obviously the tech scene is growing, and what that means is there's a lot of change in Boulder in terms of like the socioeconomic dynamics here. And so it's interesting because it's like on the one hand I want to celebrate the fact that Boulder is becoming such a attractive capital for tech, and all these amazing innovations are coming out of this tiny town that just has so much brain power. In America, Boulder has the highest number of people with degrees of any town or city in the entire U.S.
Yeah, no wonder like I was able to have like geek out with most of these people.
Yeah, and then at the same time, there's the drawbacks of that too, which is that, you know,
housing.
Yeah, we have you know, a very, very, as I mentioned when we had our last conversation on the live stream, like we have a very finite amount of housing here, and so there's nowhere for it to go but up in price. And so you know, I see that it's changing quickly, and I like that places like the Roost, where we are right now, which we just jumped on a live stream and showed, like, are focusing on providing a space for creative people so that that kind of ethos can keep living on as prices rise and tech kind of moves in, which I think is usually one of the first communities to kind of get squeezed out.
And what else? I feel like you're featuring, you're doing some more Boulder startup tomorrow.
Yep.
What are you like looking forward to tomorrow?
Tomorrow I'm going to be interviewing the managers of the Impact Hub, which was, at least from my knowledge, the first major co-working space in Boulder, and was kind of like one of the only co-working spaces here when I was last here a couple of years ago. And so, you know, I think that's going to be really interesting because not only have they created a co-working space, they also have an Impact Hub Academy, which goes along with that. And that is all about education and training and basically providing community events and, you know, helping train this community so that people who live here can actually meet the needs of the companies that are moving in here. And I think that's a really awesome way to play a role in helping this entire community change it for the better, for more people than just, you know, the head honchos in Silicon Valley.
Oh, just like a one final note, I do feel like Boulder is like a thriving community. People from all the way from like Pakistan and New Zealand and Amsterdam and like even Australia, like, you know, have like, you know, came in, check out the space because they know there's something's happening here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hype around here.
Yeah, and it's interesting because this is like a town that was not on the map even for Americans. Like, I grew up in California. I didn't know much about Boulder until I was in my mid-20s. You know, it wasn't a place that was talked about that much, but it's kind of like become discovered, and I think that's the big shift over the last like 5-10 years.
Erica likes to say, if it didn't snow and wasn't that cold, I'll probably live here.
I mean, I do still live here in the daytime, but I mean, not daytime, summertime, but yeah. But yeah, I mean, the snow is beautiful here. I have to say, if you got to live somewhere with snow, live in Boulder.
It's pretty much their lifestyle thing. And like high five, I really had a great time.
Yeah.
And we hope to like collaborate with you in the near future.
110%. This is just the beginning.
Yes, it is. I'm like, ciao everyone.
Cheers.
Let's do the one final dance together. Woo.